was looking around for a topic for my PhD. I thought, well, I want to learn more about the Vietnam War, but I'm still really interested in this sort of working class history. So if I were to go out and interview a lot of Vietnam veterans, they would have a lot to teach me about that war from a ground level vantage point, and I learned a lot, therefore, about their lives growing up and the communities they came from. And so that became the basis of my dissertation, which evolved into the first book, Working Class War, American Combat Soldiers in Vietnam. And I was living at the time in Dorchester, Massachusetts, which produced a lot of soldiers. So many of my neighbors had served in Vietnam. So it was really just a matter of, hanging out in the community and meeting people like you.
Everybody worked in a factory back then. I mean, it was all, you worked at a factory. You graduated, went to work at a factory somewhere. Some people went to college, but most of the people, or most of the guys I know, stayed right here and got a job. That's where they stayed.
It was hanging over your head, so I wanted to get over with. So I went down to Recruiter one day and asked them about, volunteering for the Army. And they asked me if I had any tickets, which I had 3 or 4. And they, oh, we can't take you. And I said, well, okay, I don't have to worry about the draft, right? And oh, no, that's not the way it works.
Oh yeah, everybody talked about it, yeah, everybody talked about it. And, and everybody, knew if they was going to get drafted, they was going to Vietnam. There was no doubt. I just remember getting a registered letter in the mail, saying you have been drafted and you will report for a physical. And I took a train from Taylorville down to St. Louis.
I knew it was coming, What are you going to do, You got to go, you got to go. So, yeah, I just wait till they tell you where to go and where to be and do your thing. Yeah, I mean, there's no getting around it. You can't hide from it. You just go.
They say you get off this bus and they hollering and screaming at you, get on these two footprints, and I would show you a picture. I had an afro then, and to it being all shaved off, and we all looked alike. And
the routine was that we ran everywhere you went. Everybody you ran, not just run by yourself. You ran in step, singing, Jody cadence, and I could carry a rifle at sling arms, and my books in the other hand, and run for a mile and a half to get to a classroom somewhere, or to a field training exercise, whatever you were never allowed to walk. The only time you could walk is if the load you were carrying was so big, so cumbersome, that it may hurt you, because of it. Then you were allowed to walk. I never found one of those loads,
And as soon as I got there, I found out they were already alerted for Vietnam. The sergeant looked over my records and scores and all that. And he said, "Can you type?" And I said, "No, I didn't take it to school. I really don't know how to type." He says, "Can you type?" I said, "No, I really." He said, "You can type, can't you?" I said, "Oh yeah, I can type." So
I got off the plane in Vietnam in my Navy blues, those heavy Navy wool blues, and it was probably 105 in the shade, 100+% humidity. It was like getting slapped in the face with a wet towel, a hot wet towel.
Would encounter a lot of sniper fire from a small unit or something like that, but a lot of times our recons and stuff, we would know that there was Viet Cong in the area, and all the different units would fly our troops into different locations, and basically we'd be surrounding them and we'd be enclosed on them, and we know we were going to be in a major firefight shortly as soon as we got the circle closed, and we had them trapped inside.
And the base was getting hit, so we went on this APC, we had to go to that toward it. And I was sitting on the back. They have a hatch that goes up like this, and I was sitting on the back of it. There was me and another guy, and there was a driver and then a machine gunner. So we go running down through there, and it's at night. And I got my flak jacket on and everything, and I feel this bam hit me. It knocked me back a little bit, and it's wet. It's dark, can't see. And I yell, I've been hit, you know, and I drop down. Get down there, and the guy drops down with me, and he's looking at me. The damn rice beetle flying the other way smacked me. He caught me right there. I thought I was shot. I did. I mean, I thought I was done, you know.
They come in to get the garbage, and we'd had mortars and 122 rockets the night before. And here's this guy stepping off to where our hooches were at, from where the round left. So we watched him for a little bit and then went and got him. Called the QCs, and they come and got him, hauled him out of there. I don't know what happened to him. Don't really care.
You never had like a shift. There was no such thing as 8 hours or 10 hours, 12 hours. You might work 2 or 3 days. You just worked until the job was done. If an aircraft come back and it was shot up, they needed it. So you had to get it repaired and get it fixed. So you just worked steady through it.
1 or 2 guys get shot. They would holler medic, you know, medic. I had to lay there for a few moments, you know, a few seconds anyway, and try to think, get myself together before I just jump up and run. And I would lay there, and then if I didn't show up quick, they'd go to calling my name. Miller. I know I got to go now, you know. But usually when I go up, though, they protect me, though. They, you know, open fire, you know.
You never moved into a completed fire base because when we left the fire base, you had to destroy it. So you had to empty all the sandbags out. You broke all the boxes up, and you took all the PSP, the choppers took all that out. Because if you didn't do that, Charlie, as we called them, or the Dinks, would use it.
Dock Song Massacre, though, that was a volunteer effort. I was not as a dental officer. I was a door gunner, flying as a door gunner. And that was the worst thing I ever saw.
I remember the first time I was shot at, and we moved out online after the fire let up. And it was just like, oh, I've done this 100 times before. It just, this time it's real, you know. But I mean, hell, you know, you move out online, you're doing a sweep, okay, no big thing, that's all. Except this time, like I say, it's real. Somebody's got real bullets and they're shooting at you.
But I got a phone number that I could call, and I could get the overseas operator. And so I used that a couple of times, got feeling down or whatever, and just decided, well, I need to call home and go in and call and do that. But, you know, we wrote letters. I wrote letters once a week, and Mom wrote me back about once a week.
Short calendar, man, it was a long time coming, but it came. As you get down to shorter and shorter, you just get, you just get anxious and fidgety. And man, you can't even sleep.
And coming back was planning on visiting my brother who's had been stationed in Thailand and came back to station California. We went to visit him for a couple of days and then coming home. But at the time, it was like raining. The protesters down there were harassing troops coming back and spitting on them and all that stuff. So we decided to all split company and go home, you know, which we did. Because we felt like we didn't want to come back here and get in trouble and then spend a year over there, you know. It wasn't worth it, so we came home.
You know, I'm over in Vietnam at the time when the miniskirt come in. So I'm not used to seeing gals in miniskirts. You know, when I left, my wife and all the ladies were wearing them about knee high or a little below the knee. Of course, here's 2 gals coming at me, and they got a miniskirt on. I'm thinking, gee, and they're looking at me and smiling. Here I'm carrying a duffel bag, my hat on, my dress greens. And they're smiling. I'm walking towards them, and one walks up, and I mean, she's just almost touching my nose. And I'm thinking, what's this going to be, you know? About then she spit on me, said, "You baby killer, you," and went on. They both laughed and went on. I thought, good grief, you know. And from then on, I said, I'd never talk about Vietnam from then on. And really, you talk to Vietnam vets, they'll tell you, and I think the majority agree, nobody talked about up to about 8 years ago. You know, when the war started over in Iraq and all, it seemed like the attitude towards soldiers made a about face. You know, we begin to be recognized for being over in Vietnam.
I gave something back by serving. I'm proud that I did it. I'm proud that I came home. I learned a lot. It's the Sentinel event, year-long event, well, 3 years long event in my life where I was trained to do that, and I did it, and I didn't have anybody in my platoon got killed. All my guys made it back, had some wounded, but nobody got killed, and for that I'm grateful. And it probably is a benchmark in my life that taught me how to lead, taught me how to accomplish things. It taught me that you can do anything for a year, no matter how hard it is.
A lot of them will say that's just another point in time, but it's part of our history. And history will continue, and I probably will have wars forever. But it may give us an idea of how to deal with it.